good point, Peyton. That's a good point you made in the chat. Is Lady Macbeth Macbeth's downfall? The fact that he's married to Lady Macbeth, does that ruin him? That's a good question. That's what you always want to ask yourself in Shakespeare tragedies, is what is it that causes the downfall of the protagonist? Maybe it's Lady Macbeth that causes his downfall. Good job, Peyton. Yeah, Sophia, that's like that's the question you should always ask in a tragedy. What is the downfall of the protagonist? You guys are so funny. I think even though Lady Macbeth is crazy, you guys like her a little bit because she's so crazy. Good, she's a narcissist. She's greedy. Okay, and needed mental health. Good. She's very power hungry. She's very manipulative. That's one of my favorite ones. Who put that on here? She manipulates her husband to a great deal. Evangelina, good job. She manipulates her husband to a great deal. He's constantly sort of saying he doesn't want to do this, and she pushes him to do it. Basically, so that her husband becomes king. Good. She used reverse psychology on him. All right, so let's continue. You guys did a nice job. So Act 2, Scene 1. Everyone is settling into sleep for the night. You guys should have read this scene, but some people are having trouble. Did anyone remember or catch any examples of ominous foreshadowing in Act 2, Scene 1? Look back at your text, and if you found any, put it on the board. I'll give you a minute to look at Act 2, Scene 1, review it. Is there any ominous foreshadowing?
Is it okay if I take the mic?
Yep.
Okay. So I don't know how to pronounce his name, but the person with the name of starts with a B, he had a nightmare with the witches, talking about the prophecy, and it scared him a lot. And that's all I remember. But that foreshadowed that something bad was going to happen.
Yes, very good. That's correct, and the things you guys are putting on the board is correct. Banquo says that he had a nightmare. Remember, he was with Macbeth the day before with the witches. He said he had a nightmare. The unknown knocking. There's a constant knocking and a bell tolling. There's all these noises that you hear in the background, or that are written that you hear in the background, but you don't always know what they're about. So it sort of gives you this ominous feeling, like, what is going on behind the scenes? Who's at the door? Who's outside? There's animal noises outside. There's a knocking. There's all these noises that sort of give you this eerie, creepy, ominous feeling. What about Macbeth? What happens to Macbeth? He has a hallucination. Anyone? Hallucination? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So here Banquo talks about that he had a dream and he couldn't sleep, a bad dream. And Macbeth, he's by himself and he has this hallucination of a dagger. Is this a dagger which I see before me? The handle towards my hand? Come, let me clutch thee. I have thee not, and yet I see thee still. So he admits he's having a hallucination of a dagger. So good. What is the purpose of this foreshadowing? There's a lot of it. What's the purpose? Hey, no private chats, you guys.
I think the purpose of the dagger is to foreshadow the fact that Macbeth is probably going to be murdered in the future.
All right, we definitely know there's a murder coming, and there's all this foreshadowing, there's this ominous feeling. Shakespeare is the king of foreshadowing. I mean, in every scene, in every play, you can have some sort of foreshadowing. So he's setting the mood, he's setting the tone. All right, so any questions before we read Act 2, Scene 2? Yes, I know you like these daggers. Or not daggers. I just said you like the daggers. Do you like the memes? That's what I meant. All right, let's go ahead then. Character volunteers, we only have 2 today. Lower your hand if you don't want to volunteer. Is there anyone who hasn't read yet that wants to read? Is there anyone that hasn't read? All right, Erin has not read. I saw her hand. Where'd she go? All right, Erin hasn't read. Erin, you can be Lady Macbeth. All right, now only boys raise your hand. Not that girls can't read Macbeth. I just want to make it even because we have one girl, so we can have one boy. All right, I know RJ read last time. All right, Peyton. Peyton, do you want to read Macbeth? All right, so we got Erin and Peyton. All right, let's do it. Enter Lady Macbeth. This is Act 2, Scene 2. It's